Yeah, yeah, and yeah. And you're vibing. With whom? Who you vibing with? Reeves. Definitely. Me, man. You're vibing with Reeves, y'all. You know what I mean? So let's go. Let's go. We vibing. I'm vibing. We vibing. Yakety smackety, you know what it is. And if you don't, you about to find out. Yeah. Um, I want to talk about creativity. And I'm a creative. I love to create. Ever since a little kid, you know, I just love to create, whether it's drawing, writing poems, writing stories, coloring, painting, drawing, freestyling, writing raps, beatboxing, DJing. I just being around other people creating, hearing people talk about something they created. That was just wow. And guess what? Still in the same boat today as a grown man. It didn't go away. I just grew into it. Sometimes people say, "Oh, you grow out of it," and that don't happen. That's not the only choice you have when you grow up. You could grow out of a habit, or you could grow into it. Like it becomes you. Now you can settle into your habit, whether it's good or bad. Just throw that out there. And yes, for a long time listeners, I have talking about creativity a time or two or three. And guess what? I'll do it again, damn it, because I love to create. There's so many people out there love to create. There's so many creators out there. Shout out to the creators and shout out to the people who love to consume the creations that people come up with. And shout out to the people who love to be regaled by the tales of, behind the scenes inspiration and the work that took place to bring the creations to the forefront. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. You the MVP for real. Yeah. Um, some people just consume the creations and they don't really care how it's made. They just enjoy it. Shout out to you too. Not everything has to be real deep and everything. Some people want to hear how it's made, where other people say, I don't care how it's made, I just care that I like the shit. Can't be mad. Some people say, I like the shit, but why do I like it? What made them choose to do that? What made them say, hey, I'm gonna go with this choice? I'm like a nerd for stuff like that. I'm watching all those things. I'm watching the unsungs. I'm watching the great show. Check out Unsung. And I'm watching, that's a show. Okay, I will go back. Unsung, a show that talks about people who the creators of the show deem were unsung, usually in R&B and hip hop communities, as far as not getting a lot of love on a mass level. Sometimes I disagree with who they say is unsung, but it's still good to learn about their lives and their creative processes, because multiple people like that Donnie Hathaway, rest in peace, that next. So Big Daddy Kane, different people, various people. But other shows that talk about behind the scenes, I say podcasts do too. There's a lot of podcasts out there. One of them is R&B Money Podcast by Tank and Jay Valentine. It's great. I love the stories. You hear stories from LA. LA was a guest up there. Babyface was a guest up there. You know, they had the Whispers up there. You know, the Whispers. You're going back. You got the Whispers up there. There's a lot. There's a lot. Yeah, MC Light on the show. Dionne Warwick. That was a good episode. All those good episodes. And they even have newer people too. So that's also good. When you have the R&B artists, hip hop artists, and there's shows where there's gospel artists too, and you you even go for the EDM, the tech, the house. And I love that you go on these different shows and different podcasts and hear about these different artists and writers and what was on their mind when they created classic music. And they sat there and decided, hey, I'm gonna zig left instead of right, or I'm gonna go right instead of left. Or you know what? I made a mistake on that tape. We gonna rock out with that. That mistake was funky. That was a funky mistake. It was soulful, something about that. You gonna keep it. Or when someone says, you know what? I know we did 99 takes. We gonna do this 100th take. And then that 100th take be the magical take, the mythical take. And everyone's like, oh, sweat, that's the one. Or when you hear about people doing mad mixes for a song, did like 100 mixes for a song, and then they end up using the second mix they did. I can identify, do so many mixes and versions, and then you end up doing damn near the first thing you did in the first place. Sometimes you got, and that sounds crazy, but it's true. Sometimes you have to get far or really far away from what you did to see how dope it is. You got to get farther away and get from you. Say, you know what I did like 85 takes ago, wasn't too bad. Let's listen to it again. You're like, that was it. Sometimes you don't know. It's like being in a new relationship and things like that. I hadn't been in the old relationship. I might need to go back. It's one of them things. So it's kind of like in the same realm. Yeah. But yeah, I love, I love, I love hearing about behind the scenes stories. And they have ones for producers too. I love to hear about that. Like one behind the scenes story that got me about the creative process was this classic one for Mobb Deep, Shook Ones, Part Two, Hip Hop Classic, Rest in Peace Prodigy. Havoc, the producer of the song, said he made the beat, but he didn't like it. He didn't even really save it. He's about to erase it, but Prodigy just walk in like, man, what's that? He said nothing. Something about it. I'm about to erase. It ain't nothing. Like, nah, let me hear that. You heard it? Like, nah, you ain't erasing nothing. We using that. Where this? Where? And then next thing you know, classic. Imagine if he would have erased that beat off his MPC. Imagine he was like, man. Imagine the project would have been like 5 minutes later. We wouldn't have um a part two. I mean, there was part one. Part one was cool too. But part one was cool too, but part two was that deal. You know what I mean? Part two was that deal. So, it's a good thing I heard it. That happens sometimes. People say, I'm not gonna use this. This song's like, what? You need that. Or my favorite thing is when an artist, you know, takes a beat or a song that everyone thinks is gonna fail and then they make it a huge success story. It's a huge hit. Like Snoop said, nobody likes eruption slash sexual seduction when he made it. That even his wife was like, nah, this ain't the one. But it ended up being a huge hit. So sometimes you gotta stick to your guns. It's like something in you is like, nah, this is it, this is it. You know? Sure, I even do things on creative processes. I started that too. So you can check on my YouTube creative process. Mr. Reeves, I give a little extended look on my creative process behind the scenes making beats, you know. Eventually I'll show you my writing, show you more about when I'm writing, my creative process, and also recording vocals. We'll get into that later, little bit down the ways. But yeah, I just said, you know what? I love consuming this type of content. Why not make it? I mean, I would do it on a smaller level on my Instagram, but it felt incomplete. Like I would say, oh yeah, late. This is what I have so far. I have the melody, I have the drums, I have a bass line. I need some more. I'll get back with you later when I have it. Then the next day I'll put it up. And then I'm like, yeah, I added the synth and it's cool, but sometimes I'll forget uh, to get back. And I finished the beat already and I did more beats after that. And then people like, hey, how did that beat turn out? I'm like, oh shit, damn it. Wow. So I forget. So this helps me. And plus, with the different programs I use like OBS Studio with it and I re un web camera. I don't know how to pronounce that one, but I use it. I don't have to pronounce it properly to use it right. So yeah, it'll show you you can show the inside of what I'm doing on my laptop. Like I can show you on my music program. You can see what I'm doing, the buttons I'm pressing, and I could toggle back and forth with the camera view, and you can see me playing something on the keyboard. You can see me working on the bass line. You can see me my fingers, on the drums. Then I can toggle back, and you can see how that correlates to what's going on in the program. So when I'm explaining something, you see what I'm talking about, and you can toggle back to my face, and I say, "Look, this is what I mean by that." Then I go over the way. It makes it feel more professional. You can see what I'm saying. It makes it more interesting instead of it just being me with my phone pointed at the computer or me and the phone pointed at myself or just it's staticky. It's not moving anything. It's static, just not moving like here. This one way. Like so that's another thing too. I love it. I love it. I love to just create. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. And a lot of people love to create too, People have different muses, different creative spirits or, different things that force them to create and, ins different sources of inspiration. Some people know it's raining outside and then they'll get inspired more. I can't front, I'm one of those too. Either I'm a creator, I'm gonna go to sleep. It's either one. It either makes me sleepy or I feel creative. When it rains a lot, like, or oh snap, I gotta come up with something. Some people are more inspired by beautiful weather, by quote unquote beautiful weather. I mean, sunny. If the sun's out, they want to write. They want to do that. Some people are more inspired at night. Like they want to create at night, only at night, like vampire style. Like, nah, we're gonna create all night, then sleep all day. Some people are on it like that. So it's about what suits the person. And right now, I'm talking about creative on a musical level. I'm a producer artist. Reeves-Don't, y'all. Check it out. And also, this is something else I created, the hoodie. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's what it is. So the hoodie is me. You can get that on reevesent.com as well. But there's other things to create, like you might create clothes. You- that might be a thing. Your spirit of creativity may work more in the fashion area. So you might make the t-shirts, you might make the hoodies, you might make dresses, skirts, you might make suits. Maybe your creativity is more in hairstyles. Maybe you're a hairstylist. That's your creativity flourishes. That's the area in which your creativity really flows. Is when it comes to doing some hairstyles. And it's just amazing. People are like, how'd you do that? That's what's up. That's great. I salute thee. That's wonderful. True indeed. Indeed is true. Some people are painters. Some people love to paint. I used to do that too, Paint, draw, used to do that. Used to make my own homemade comics. So, Love to create. Just it's fun. You might create dance steps. Maybe you're a dancer. You love to create different dance moves. That's choreographer right there. That's creative right there. That's creative. Some people sculpting, you know, you're a sculptor. That's creativity. And also writer. You might be a novelist. You write novels. Maybe you write short stories. You write short stories. You're a writer. Maybe you write TV scripts or movie scripts. That's creativity right there. To sit back and create TV shows. I mean, some of the writing on these shows, like episodes of Living Single, well written show. They got a podcast too. Reliving Single, I think it's called. Something of that nature. And yeah, it's we gotta check that out. Gotta check it out. Erica Alexander, on there. And they talk about the show and different stories from behind the scenes of the Living Single Days. They're only on episode like 3 or 4, but it just started, so but it's dope. Um, dang, creative, who's creative too? Actors. They're creative, aren't they? Even if they didn't write the script in which they're acting out. I mean, come on, man. But they bring it to the role is creative. They have to bring that off the page and put it in front of you, whether it's on the stage, like on doing a play, or on the sound stage, or a TV show or a movie. They have to make those words come alive and make you believe they are that person or that alien, whatever they're playing. They have to convince you. And you not feel like, oh yeah, look at him, Mitch. He's trying to play a senator. Look at her. She's trying to play a sculptor. No, you have to be, oh, that's a senator. Oh, she's a sculptor. You have to believe that. Almost to the point where people see that person in the street and they're like, hey, how the sculptor business going? And you're like, I'm that. Then she's like, hey, that was just a movie. Just a movie, not real. But that means she did a great job acting, convincing people. You're bringing something across. Yeah, I will bring across the creativity that was in that script, that screenplay, and you brought it out there, and people can't deny it. So that's wonderful. You know, I don't know. And people, like, why do you look great? I just do. It feels great. I can't explain why in a way that may satisfy them, and I don't even care to. Not like I'm mad. Like I ain't explaining shit. Some people get that way. They don't like to explain themselves. I understand that because I have a little bit of that in me. I was raised around that. I'll say it like that if people don't want to explain themselves. But sometimes you don't. Sometimes you can't. Everything doesn't need an explanation. Some things do, but yeah. I don't know. I just love to create. It just feels good. It just feels good. It's fun. It's dope. Pharrell Williams, producer, artist, member of the Neptunes. He said in some interview that nobody owns an idea. It's just for rent from the library of the universe or something. Basically, like the ideas up there. Like you check it out, ideas. When you sit there creating a story, a beat, pardon me, painting. You're just checking out ideas from the library in the universe. Like it's not yours to own. You're just checking out ideas and you're expounding on them. And then if you do good and create some really dope shit, then that's good. You're gonna keep having access to that library. But if you take it for granted and you don't create as much and you just do whack stuff, then it's gonna be harder to take stuff out. Interesting idea, interesting philosophy. Definitely, definitely. I say you gotta appreciate your creativity because sometimes you see easy to have a writer's block or that's not cool. Also, the way things are, you have to really understand you have to keep creating, keep trying. Because I mean, it gets hard when you take a pause, take a stop, and you don't create for a long time. Just nah, I'm not creating. Then you try to get back. It's like, oh snap. It's almost like you going to the gym uh multiple times a week, then you stop for a long time, then you expect to pick off where you left off and be at the exact same level. Nah, you may have to catch up. You may have to catch up. You don't want to sit back and ignore your gift for years and try to go back to it. Then it might be hard to really get that. I saw something that really speaks to that. It was a 2020, I think it was a old from the TV show 2020, a special on that. And my grandmother, may she rest in peace, love her. And she wanted me to see that special because she knew I was into music, anything in music, and that was positive. She would try to send my way. She would send my way. So anyway, one of the specials talked about someone that was in the streets. He was selling drugs and he got caught up a bunch of times, and then they just put him in the program. And he said he didn't want to do it anymore. He said he could always go back to music. He was great at playing the piano, and he could go back. He hadn't played it for years because he was so in the streets that he didn't play the piano. He neglected playing the piano. He said he was winning awards for it as a child. They saying he's like a prodigy. He could have, like a child prodigy, he could have been anything, but the Lord, the streets won him over. So now that he was leaving the streets alone and was doing positive things and was working, he tried to go back to playing the piano. And they put him in the room, the piano. He said, "Yeah, I used to do this. I could do this." And it was coming out bad, really, really bad. He couldn't get it. He like, you see the discouragement in his face. He just was head down like this, like, and you could see like it broke him. Like, why can't I play this? And I was like, oh, snap. And the message got to me like, don't take your gift for granted and abandon it, because when you come back to it, it might not be there. If the gift is given, like it might not be there because it was just given to you in the first place. So you take for granted, like, I don't need this, I don't care, everything else. And then if it's especially something that's not really helping you out, it's something that's hurting you, then you come back to it, and you're going cavalier, like, yeah, it's gonna be there. It's like it might not. So well, you might have to struggle to try and get the semblance of that spark back. And that was deep. And also to me, it's like muscle memory. You remember how you did things because you do it all the time. Practice makes perfect. You're doing different reps. You get it. It's like at the gym, you're doing reps, you're doing reps, you're doing reps. You get better, it get easy for you to do it. Now, if you say, hey, I haven't been here in 3 years, ain't nothing, I'm gonna come back and do it easy, then that might not be the case. I have to get back on that horse and get back to that level you was before, and then stay. Then you may need to stay at it. So that's something that was crossing my mind with the creativity. No, that's something to keep in mind too. You don't want to neglect that gift, but sometimes you might not feel that urge to create, and that's when I guess discipline pops in, and you just do stuff you don't feel like that has to be done, and then next thing you know, it's coming out hot. It's coming out hot, and you're used to it. But that's one of the things with creativity. You got to figure out when to take a break, how long to take a break, and then come back feeling inspired to do. Like I said, just keep on going and going. Because like y'all mean discipline. This is discipline. I'm not going to sit back and go off and then leave it alone for a long ass time. Try to come back and think I'm gonna be at the same level. Just something to let roam around in your head for my fellow creatives. Tell me how you feel, if you agree or disagree. You know, you might not agree, or you might agree. Whichever one is all good, is all love. Leave it in the comments. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. So yeah, do that. And Robert Reeves podcast. Robert Reeves, the podcast. Fridays, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Subscribe, comment, listen, share. You know what I mean? I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking it out. Thank you. Oh, so much because you didn't have to. You could have been doing anything else. Could have been checking out someone else's podcast. Uh, uh, could have been playing Sudoku. Could have been playing PS5. Could have been picking your feet. Some people still do that. I don't know. You could be doing anything. But you was vibing with who? Moi, Reeves. Appreciate you. Thank you ever so much. Don't forget to go by reevesnt.com and create something. If you feel that urge, create something. It doesn't have to be the best. It doesn't have to be the other. Just create. Get started. If you used to create and you stopped and you missing it, go back, start. I don't care if it's a rhyme and you used to be able to flow for 5 minutes straight, and now you're like, dang, it's been so long. Start for 4 bars. I don't give a damn. Just write something, 4 bars, 8 bars. Start off. That I challenge you. If you're the urge to create, if you feel the urge to create, I challenge you to go with your urge. Create. You don't necessarily have to post it if you don't feel like it, but just for you, just create for you. Because sometimes it's for you. It gives you a good feeling. It feels right for you. Create, do it, and then do it again. Do it again. That might be some of your self-care. That might help you on the inside, might help you mentally, emotionally, health wise, do it. Who knows? You might be able to make a career out of it, but just do it. Maybe you could put that art out there and help inspire others. You know what I mean? So do it, create. What you waiting on? 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 And I'm gone. Jill, vibing.